Hey, welcome back to another episode. In this video, I want to talk about excuses. A few years ago, I started my very own personal development journey. And if any of you have started your own personal development journeys, you know how amazing that is, where you're discovering all these new things, all these new concepts that you're like, oh man, why was I not taught this in school? Anyway, I stumbled upon what became one of my top 3 mentors, and his name was Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn was talking about a story that he had with his very own mentor. The mentor was really wealthy. He was the wealthiest man in his town. So Jim Rohn approached this mentor and said, hey, can you tell me what the secret to wealth is? Because he is obviously the wealthiest man in Jim Rohn's town. And the mentor asked Jim, why are you asking me this question? And Jim said, well, it's because I'm struggling right now. I just got married, I got 2 kids now, and I'm relatively young, and I'm struggling to figure out why I'm not wealthy. His mentor said, okay, here's a piece of paper and a pen. Please go write down all the reasons why you're not successful, and then bring that piece of paper, that list, back to me tomorrow. So Jim said, okay, no problem, I can do that. That's a relatively simple task. Jim went home, sat down, scratched his head, said, damn, I gotta write this down. I have to impress this guy. He wrote down about 10 things on that list. Very next day, he was excited. He went back to his mentor and said, here you go, here's my list of the reasons why I am a privileged, non-melanated, a lot of you guys will understand this, no melanin, man, able-bodied, and relatively sane. He wasn't mentally ill or anything, but he was not successful in America, the greatest country in the world, right? Wealthiest country in the world. So the mentor took the list and started going through that list. And he said, okay, so the government is corrupt, okay. Second reason why Jim is not wealthy is because the bank wouldn't lend him money. Third reason on that list, his friends don't want to lend him any money. Fourth reason, his wife complains all the time. Fifth reason, he's distracted, he's got kids now, he doesn't have time, and so on and so on. So that list went on and on. 10 things on that list. After Jim finished reading out his list, his mentor said, that's great, Jim. That's a nice list, and I agree with all these things on your list. There's just one thing though, Jim. And Jim says, what? I can't figure it out. I've written down everything. What could it possibly be? And the mentor said, you left out one person, Jim Rohn. You left out yourself on that list. So where am I going with this story? What I learned is that we're always quick to play the victim. You know people who are quick to play the victim, right?
Even me sometimes I've done that too, but I know
I'm guilty. I've done that too. I played the victim. I blamed everybody but myself.
You always look for somebody to blame.
We always look for somebody else to blame. And the day that we realize that all those things mean nothing if you don't take full responsibility of yourself, you'll never be wealthy. It doesn't matter how highly paid of a worker you are, highly paid employee that you are. Some of you are nurses, you're highly paid nurses. You are highly paid, but you'll never be wealthy because you've never taken full responsibility of your actions. And we all know somebody who's like that.
There are friends I had to cut off my life because part of it also has to do with the distractions. Constantly, they're very negative, to always blaming somebody for this, that, even when you try to make them understand that it's not always the other side, they have to also look to
Look internally. Look
Yes.
at yourself.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what is it that I'm not doing that's causing me not to be successful? Yes, we're not saying all those other reasons are invalid. In fact, if you're a black woman, you can add 10 more reasons to why you're not successful, including the system being against you.
Yes.
These are all valid reasons.
Yes.
But I do want to remind you of one thing. I do want to remind you that there are immigrants that come into this country with nothing, with less than you.
Yes.
Now, if you're lucky enough or privileged enough to be born in this country,
Yes.
just understand you are at least a step ahead.
That's right. We don't have to worry about papers.
We were not born in this country.
No. We wanted to start from the scratch.
You know what the bottom is? If this is the bottom, we have to start under the bottom.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
With nothing.
With nothing.
No legal paperwork to be in this country. And this story is not unique to us. There are a lot of others that are out there, including some of you guys that are watching this, that know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're privileged enough to be born in this country, I want to encourage you for one thing. I want to encourage you to get an immigrant friend. Get an immigrant friend so you can understand the true struggles of what it's like
Yes.
to be disadvantaged before you start complaining that the system is against you.
That's true.
That's all I'm asking.
Yes.
Now, if you got, of course, disabilities, we're not talking about that. Like,
Yeah.
if you're able-bodied,
Yes.
you're relatively young,
Yes.
you got enough energy, and you're mentally stable,
You have no excuses.
what are your excuses? You can make it. You can do it too.
Yes. No more excuses.
Blame yourself first before you blame everybody else.
Yes.
So on your list, you should be number one on that list.
That's right.
Then everything else is number
Look
two.
at
three,
what
four,
you're doing, what you're not doing right. What are you doing wrong? Ask yourself. You ask yourself. Don't blame somebody else.
Don't-
When you want to make changes, it has to start with you.
It has to start with you.
Yeah, first.
I'm going to ask you one last question. When was the last time you read a book? Do you know that most black people read like one book a year?
Oh, wow.
There's a running joke that says if you want to hide something from black people,
Yeah.
put it in a book. Because black people don't read.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Yeah, so make a habit. Start reading books. No excuses, because once you start having excuses, you won't be able to even do a business.
That's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of business, we have a 90-day video course. Click below this video to check it out. That'll help you get off your butt and stop having excuses on why you haven't started your own home care agency. So click the link below to preview that course. I will see you on the other side.
See ya.
All right, take care.